and welcome back to Stories in the Den with me, Jamie.
And me, Simon. We hope you're all doing well, and maybe you've been able to be back to school, or you've started back already for quite a while and seen friends and family again. And there's lots of new exciting things that we can thank God for all these opportunities. Well, if you remember where we were last time we were here meeting together, we were with the story of Joseph, the man with 11 brothers, thrown into a well, sold into slavery, and then falsely accused of some stuff. And he was in jail when we left him. But even more important to remember was how God was with him the entire time. And that's where we left the story. Joseph in jail, and yet God was even there, right alongside him in prison. And Joseph was very popular with the guards, and they'd given him loads of roles and responsibilities, and Joseph had even managed to help some of the prisoners as well. So what happens next?
Well, about 2 years later, the Pharaoh of Egypt, here he is, had a bad dream himself. And he woke up. I've just had a horrible dream. It was so real. And I don't know what it means, but I think it might mean something really important. I need someone to come and help me, tell me what this dream means. Quick, go out, people. Go and find someone to help me understand this dream. So Pharaoh sent his guards out to try and find someone to help with his dream. But no one could help him understand his dream. No one, that is, until Pharaoh's drink pourer. Now, Pharaoh was that posh that he had someone to pour his drinks for him whenever he wanted a drink. And he had actually met Joseph in prison.
He was indeed a real person. Here he is.
Hello, I'm the cupbearer. Yes, well, excuse me, Sir Pharaoh. In prison, there was a man called Joseph, and he was a slave. And, well, he helped me understand my dream, and maybe he could help you too.
Oh, yes, that sounds very good. Someone's got to go and get me this daydreaming, dream-solving Joseph from prison. I need to speak to him right away.
Yes, of course.
So off the guards went to go and get Joseph and bring him back to the Pharaoh. And when he came back, they spoke long about Pharaoh's dream.
Here
The
he
important thing was, there he is. Hi, Joseph.
Hi, everyone.
Now, it turns out God did help Joseph understand Pharaoh's dream, and it did have a very important meaning.
Well, thank you for summoning me, Pharaoh, to be here. Your dream means this. For 7 years, you and your people will have lots and lots of food. You'll have loads to eat. Lots and lots.
Oh, right. Well, that sounds good. Nothing to worry about then. Great. Thank you very much.
Well, just before you go, although there will be 7 years of plenty, there will then be 7 years of nothing. Your people will be very, very, very hungry.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. Oh, that's not good. No. I'm panicking now. I don't know what to do. What should I do, Joseph? What should I do?
Well, if you ask me, you need a plan. But you need to put someone in charge of it all. All the food, when it's coming in for those 7 years, eat sensibly. Don't eat too big portions. And put a load of it in the barn and big storehouses for when you have no food. So when those 7 years of famine come, you will have loads of food to spare.
Right, okay, yes. Good plan, Joseph, good plan. And that's what Pharaoh did. He decided that the best person for the job to put in charge of all the food was Joseph.
Me?
And that was really nice, Joseph. Yeah, you.
Wow.
Because Joseph had just all that time in prison, and it must have been really nice being given such an important job. So Joseph took charge of all the food, and he made sure the people of Egypt had plenty to eat, but they didn't eat too much, and he stored the spare bits away, so that when the time came and there was no food in Egypt, they still had plenty to eat. But the thing was, the famine spread further than Egypt. It spread out and just began to reach Joseph's brothers and Joseph's family in Canaan, and his brothers were very hungry.
Well, they were indeed. And his brothers, we can see them now. Here they are. There is 11 of them if you count. Well, one of the different brothers said,
I know they've got food in Egypt, and I've heard someone's been taking charge of all that food, and we should go get some of that food from them. Let's go buy food from Egypt.
And that's what they did. The brothers set off to Egypt, but they didn't all go. In fact, Benjamin, the youngest brother, stayed behind.
there he is.
There he is, he's gone. But the other brothers set off to Egypt to go and buy some food. Now, when they got to Egypt, they went and sorted out what food they were going to buy, and they saw Joseph, but they didn't recognize him. I mean, they weren't expecting to see Joseph there. After all, they'd thrown him in a well and thought they'd got rid of him and then sold him into slavery. But Joseph recognized them. Instead of selling them food, he had a plan. He decided he accused them of being spies, and he chucked all the brothers in jail for 3 days.
Oh, we're in prison now.
After 3 days, he let the brothers go home, but he kept one of the brothers in the jail, and he told them he wouldn't let the brother go until they bought Benjamin to come and see him, because he was worried about why they hadn't bought Benjamin. He was worried that maybe they'd done something to him as well. When Joseph's dad, Jacob, heard from the brothers that Joseph wanted to see Benjamin, but they didn't know it was Joseph, but they wanted to see Benjamin, he didn't want to let Benjamin go in case anything happened to him, because after all, he'd already lost Joseph. But eventually he decided to let Benjamin go with the rest of his brothers to Egypt because they needed to buy some more food. And when Joseph saw his brother Benjamin, he was so happy.
Benjamin! Oh, I mean, you don't know me, but well, I can see you've grown so much. I mean, God bless you. I'm going to throw a big party just for you and all of your family, and there'll be lots of food, and everyone is invited, even your dad.
And Joseph was so happy, he prayed to God in thanks.
God, I'm so happy and thankful you've brought my family back together, even they don't quite realize who I am yet. I'm just so happy that this all happened this way. Your hand was on it the entire time. You guided me, and you have brought me back to be with my family. Thank you for your hand being on my life.
Joseph's brothers told him about how Benjamin's dad, Jacob, hadn't wanted to let Benjamin go. And Joseph was so happy to hear that his dad was still alive.
My dad's alive! Yay!
Now, it took Joseph a little bit of time to tell his brothers who he actually was. He didn't tell them straight away. In fact, he played a trick on them first. But when he did finally tell them, his brothers were all very apologetic and very pleased to see Joseph and sorry for what they'd done.
I'm so sorry.
Joseph was so happy that they were all together that he asked his family to move to Egypt and live with them, where there was plenty to eat. In fact, the Pharaoh was so happy for Joseph that he even sent his posh horses and chariots to go and pick up his family. How fancy is that?
Well, very fancy indeed. And Joseph, he was so pleased that they were all there together. And I mean, even though that he'd been sold into slavery, God never left him. And he told his brothers that, and they realized that even though they'd done all these horrible things, God's hand had been on their lives. And what they thought was impossible, their brother being alive and then going into famine, God had actually saved them through all of this and reunited their family.
Yeah, it's an amazing story, isn't it? I mean, I think Joseph could have been really sad and angry about all the things that he'd been through and what his family had done. But in the end, he just decided to trust in God and be obedient to what God said. And God had a way of bringing them all back together and bringing good into this situation. And the funny thing is, if you can remember in the beginning of the story, Joseph got into trouble, didn't he, when he told his brothers about the dreams he'd been having, about him being the wheat and the other wheat all bowing down to him. But in the end, Joseph's brothers did have to come and follow Joseph and follow his lead, and they needed something from him. And God had foreseen that right in the very beginning of the story. And so it just shows that God was with them the entire time, right from dreaming, right to them being reunited in the end. And that's what God's like in our life. He never leaves our side. And even though sometimes his plan can seem a little bit like maybe it's not what we expected, or sometimes it can be a bit confusing, God always uses situations for the good of all people. And he always knows and appreciates what we need in our lives too.
Wow, what an amazing story. And we've barely scratched the surface of some of those details. So hopefully when we see each other again soon, perhaps online, and we have a time together and some fun and games, we'll be able to go even deeper into this story and about what it means for us today. But until then, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining in for Times in the Den. Bye, guys.